Hey, what up, though? It's the Muscle Man musician, Donald Pump. Make sure you hit subscribe if you haven't already. If you have subscribed, tap that bell. And probably most importantly, leave a comment, get a conversation going down below, hit like. All that stuff's important for the algorithm, obviously. YouTube doesn't like us small creators who aren't forking out money to them. So, today, the subject of the video is, while I'm going to go more in depth with training programs I provide for some of you guys, I decided to take the time to create a kind of tips and tricks video for building the back, both for optimal muscle growth and for functionality. I chose to do back first because it's oddly the part of my body that I have the best mind-muscle connection with. I also feel like it's the best muscle group for targeting different parts of the muscle, like, say, the upper lats, lower lats, and so on. So my experience may be different. I think that I developed the mind-muscle connection for this muscle group in particular because I have back problems and had a lot of back pain when I started this journey. I always felt like growing the size and strength of the right muscles would relieve some of that pain. Coupled with weight loss, I'm virtually pain-free, except for occasional pain at the actual source, a herniated disc and bad scoliosis in my upper and mid-back. I'm going to focus on 4 movements today: the seated unilateral row, or one arm at a time, the 45 and 30 degree dumbbell row, variations of the pull down, and the assisted pull up. Yeah, sorry guys, I'm kind of looking up because I have notes here. The seated row seems to have lost favor in recent years and been somewhat replaced by variations of the pull down. I tend to grow the most from the seated row personally, but it took years of tweaking it to get proper activation. You'll notice serious curvature in my back. That's not me rolling my shoulders forward or poor form. It's unfortunately the natural curvature in my back that I'm actually correcting over time. But anyways, you've probably noticed that most serious lifters have taken to doing one arm at a time on some of these exercises. And you've likely seen the reverse taekwondo punch, on the row. The twisting of the fist, this seems like it really activates the muscle. I disagree to some degree. Like I was saying, I have a great connection with my back muscles. I feel and can physically feel with my hand a very short loss of tension right as that wrist turns back to its original position at the end of the movement. Kind of like right here. Like right as it's turning, you lose it, and then you pick it back up with the gravity of the movement. I opt for doing less of a turn. I go forward until it feels like I'll be pulled right out of my seat, but no further. You'll lose a bit of tension there if you go too far forward. And I explode back. At the end of that explosion, you want to get a bit of a squeeze. Completely stop the motion on at least a few of the reps. And as the set wears on, I'm pulling straight back in the old school way to generate more force. Also, I maintain a very good connection with that type of movement because by the time I'm partway through the set, I'm really feeling parts of the lats lighting up. I can identify very well. And another thing to note is on the pulling back and down part of the motion, you're going to get significantly more upper lat, for the tapering effect and that activation. If you end in a pronated grip, notice what you're getting right here. If you get that squeeze, maybe mix it up. You just want to end with a serious power movement right there. Now, for that twisting motion that you're trying to achieve with the fist, I get it from literally pulling across my body. Likely seems like you can't on a fixed wheel, but you can. It's all in positioning. Focus on the body and the path of the cable rather than the hand. A way to think of this is to kind of turn from your hip without moving your back. Almost like your shoulder here is getting pushed back like that rather than focusing on the hand. I also kind of picture, as I do the lifts, the 3-part process. On a negative, I'm kind of pausing for a millisecond and counting that way halfway through the movement to both prolong it and to check in with my connection. So it's kind of a 1, 2, 1, but I'm actually stopping on that 1. So 1, 2, I'm doing it very quickly. You can't notice it, but you want to get a squeeze halfway through because after all, that's kind of where you're fighting the most gravity on it. On the negative anyway, is like right halfway through it. And of course, you get a squeeze at the bottom as well. And as I said earlier, I go forward, but not too far forward. If you go too far forward, you're transferring some of the tension to the shoulder, and that's going to feel too natural. unfortunately, if you have rounded shoulders and things like that, poor posture, so on. Remember, when your posture is bad, you're training the wrong muscles to activate throughout the day, just in normal movements. And that's when you're leaning forward. So you want to go kind of where it almost feels like you're going to get pulled out of your seat and then bring it back. Going further forward is something we're doing to try to make the exercise better, but you just can't overdo that. Call me easily intrigued, but pull downs have always fascinated me. You can really emphasize different parts of your lats and upper back just by leaning a bit differently, or most importantly, using a different attachment. While I use nearly every attachment on this exercise from time to time, my least favorite is actually the neutral grip. I know everyone says that it's the best these days, but you are most likely to feel rotator pain with that handle, and I feel like you're incorporating too much of the deltoid with that variation, hence the pain. That can really mess up your split. And contrary to belief, you'll get the most upper lat and rear deltoid, erectors and rhomboid activation from the conventional bar. Middle and overall lat development, I know that they say the narrow grip is going to light up your upper lats more, but I disagree. Doing videos like this and looking at your musculature will tell you what's really happening. And you can kind of see here in the video. I also tend to lean back just slightly. And yes, I do cheat reps at the end, once all of my supporting muscles are engaged and tight. Same thing as in the seated row. I slow at the middle of the negative, kind of right there. Basically the hardest part to stop at. To get a great squeeze at both ends. Stop the momentum is probably the best way to say it. That's what you're really trying to do here. Punish yourself. 45-degree incline bench dumbbell rows are something I underestimated. I thought the bent row would be so much better. This is practically an isolation exercise if observed and executed right. Same as always, you're pulling back and down. These are great for V-taper and safe movement, as opposed to the bent row. Despite my spinal and shoulder issues, this exercise has never hurt me, not even close. I found that if you lower the bench one notch to 30-ish degrees, that's what I need to engage the erectors, and you're not totally losing the lat either. Those are the cause of much of my pain and maybe yours with the disc, posture, shoulder pain, and injuries. And they need strengthened maybe more than any other muscle in the back. They assist heavily in every motion and throughout every movement of your day. So it's important for me to target them here. They're actually a muscle that's hard to target despite how important they are, how much they support other muscles and movements. I get an amazing pump in them from this slight adjustment, and it's hard to feel a pump in them. They're a skinny muscle along your spine, and they actually get smaller. Also, a brief squeeze at the top will light up your traps like a million of your half-ass shrugs can't. Give it a try. Give it that real squeeze at the very top with your chest just a bit off of the bench. And you're really getting some support from the traps there. You're not totally taken away from the lats. And of course, we know you're already doing a lot of lat-centric movements in your back workout. At least I am. Pretty sure you guys are too. As far as these assisted pull-ups, I don't have much footage here, and the footage does suck to boot. But you will see me emphasize that pause in the middle. And you'll notice that it's not a full range of motion. That pause and squeeze is giving me plenty of lat activation. And the shorter range is going to put more emphasis on the erectors again and the overall upper back. Holding yourself up at the top is going to not only let you feel where the pump is, but also hit a bit of your outer forearm on those angled handles if you have those. I'm using those here because doing a conventional pull-up just kind of destroys my shoulders and messes the movement all up. But yeah, give it a try to where you're doing a little bit less range of motion as far as the down goes. Do it to where once again, you really feel like you have to resist in order to hold yourself up. Get that squeeze at the top. Like I said, this is emphasizing the upper back more, but chances are if you're doing like a 4-movement workout like this, you're probably going to have 2 of them that really emphasize the lats. So you're getting enough of those. You're getting it here. You're just also incorporating more of the supporting muscles, which will in turn help you do more weight, whether you're doing a lat exercise or doing something like a deadlift. It's kind of a bonus, if you will. When I started this journey, I started with puny forearms, just from genetics and using my delts too much, and my day-to-day motions. I'm putting the weight on my tendons instead of grabbing things closer to me. I've got long arms and the whole thing. Now I'm growing what can kind of pass as a man's forearms. I like to share this little tweak because I actually do a forearm workout with my back workout. So I went ahead and left the camera on for one of the exercises. Here's what your normal cable wrist curl looks like that you see most guys doing. I kind of point out at the two parts of the muscle group that you're activating. Now, when you change the angle of your arm, maybe around 20 degrees, I would guess, just a bit, you'll involve more of the wrist flexor group. You're still burning up the other two small groups of muscles, but you're getting that wrist flexor group of muscles in there too. I've got tendon problems, and this is kind of a lifesaver. I can directly build the supporting muscles that are often skipped over while really getting a pump in the larger parts of the forearm. A lot of guys will say, don't worry about hitting these muscles in your forearm. They're so small, it doesn't matter. But I mean, they're going to take up some space and push your other forearm muscles out. So, it is going to help with the aesthetics. And like I said, it'll help with your tendons. It'll help your range of motion and activation and just overall strength in the forearm so you can load more weight up on the other exercises. Focus on that area of the arm's tension, and you'll know that you have the angle right. Because it took me a while to get that angle perfectly right. If you're in here, you're emphasizing, I believe, the outer. You're over here, you're emphasizing the middle. You're not even getting those, but kind of like right in between there. That's where you're getting it. But yeah, guys, these are just like little tips and tweaks. I'm not always going to make training videos that just say this is proper form. I think all of us have seen what proper form is. Most of us can execute it pretty well, but there's little things you can do in between that form. On some of these, I probably didn't lean back as much as I usually do. I didn't load it up as much weight as I usually do because I wanted to emphasize these kind of like micro movements. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Give a few of these little things a try and tell me how you feel the next day, because I think you're going to feel a little bit extra soreness, which can be good sometimes. I think we talked about that in another video. And I think you'll have a better pump. After this workout, my back looked phenomenal. Let me know any little weird tweaks that you do. We all have them. You don't see guys talk about them very much. I think it's because we're kind of doing them subconsciously. We don't even realize we're doing them. I just pay more attention to these back movements. Really got nothing else to add. I've just got some really great videos you should check out. And I've created playlists that kind of organize this stuff, whether it's supplementation or workout tips or dietary tips, or just my transformation video to show what I achieved, maybe to give some of you guys a bit of a goal and see, okay, well, this is really possible with very subtle changes to diet and lifestyle. That's one of the main things that these programs that I'm going to be providing for some of you guys are going to emphasize. Is subtle changes. Those little changes can really make a huge difference in your overall results and can really keep you in a positive mindset where it's like you're not overwhelmed. You're not like, oh, I got to make this huge change to get over this plateau or to lose these couple of pounds that are so important to me. No, you can just alter things in the slightest bit sometimes, and it'll make a world of difference. So, like I said at the beginning, hit like, leave me a comment. Let's talk back and forth. Other than that, on that note, I say peace.